Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a look that I did do about maybe a year ago. It is what I use as my profile icon on Instagram and stuff, and I think my Facebook is also that, and those are linked down below if you want to see those. For this look, I used the Alamar Reina del Caribe palette, which if you have not seen the inside of this before, it just looks like this. It's a really pretty tropical colored palette, and I really like this. And I did a really colorful cut crease with this look. So that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do today. And before we start, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my tutorials, and let's get started. So to start, what I remember doing was I created a line like this with the color Cocoa Taxi and what is this one? Tropico. So I did mix these two shades together, and I'm going to make kind of a pretty prominent line right above my crease. This looks pretty like shocking at first, but we're gonna blend it. I mean, it is gonna stay pretty pigmented, but I am gonna blend it. So for this, I did carry it pretty far over to my nose right here, and that's deliberate. That was because I wanted it to be really dramatic, and believe me, it is a very dramatic look. But I really love the way that it turned out. So what we do once we get to the end right here, and you're gonna flick it out upward just a little bit, you want to kind of start feathering the edges out. I have not re-dipped back into my product, by the way. And so what you're gonna have to start with is this kind of dramatic swoosh of line. So I'm gonna move on to the other eye. I think the hardest part for me is getting it to match because that's how I am with, you know, my liners and stuff like that. Any type of like precise line, I have a hard time matching it to the other eye. So just make sure you're looking forward in your mirror as you do this, and just taking a second between, you know, doing this to kind of stop and look and make sure that you're following the same like height as the line and everything else. So really this line is like a upward and then down swoosh up kind of thing. Like I said, it's really a dramatic look, but it's so pretty at the end. And honestly, I just kind of came up with it on the fly, like I do with pretty much all of my looks. Sometimes I see something and I'll have a little bit of inspiration, but for the most part, it's just kind of stuff I come up with on the fly. Okay, so I forgot to tell you, this is my Luxie 121 mini tapered brush I was using. You want to use a little bit of a smaller brush that you can do this shape with. You definitely don't want to use something bigger like this because it's going to be too big to start with. So now we're going to go back with a fluffy brush, and I'm going to start softening the very edge of that color up. And once I get out to this part, I'm just feathering it out just a little bit to a point. I just wanted to quickly mention also that for the last couple of weeks I have been a little off with my video scheduling, and that is not intentional. I'm usually very punctual with when I post my videos, but for others, quarantine life has had them less busy. For me, I have been busier than ever. My kids are at home the entire day, and so I'm mostly doing, you know, stuff with them when they would normally be at school. It has been a little more chaotic with trying to get my videos out and getting them out on time. I have a few that are just sitting in my computer unedited and unpublished that I've done but haven't had the time to get around to do. If you have kids, I'm sure you understand. Alright, so the next thing that we are going to do is take a small brush. You know what, I'm just going to use the same Luxie brush, and I didn't tell you what the other one was. This is just a Bogosh's smudge brush, and this is the one we blended with. This is the one we laid the color with. You can see how this one is bigger and more fluffy. So for this, we're going to take the shade Cafecito, which is this really deep brown. You obviously don't have to have this palette to do this look. If you have similar shades to what I'm showing you, then you can most certainly recreate this. And if not, you can do just whatever colors you want with the same type of placement of the color. For this, I am packing this deep brown shade in the outer corner of my eye. And I really don't want to go above the crease with it. I did just a hair, but I really don't want to take it up. I want to kind of keep it pigmented just in this one little section. So with that other brush that we were just using, I'm going to take that and start softening the edges out, because I really just want this shade to be in the outer corner. I don't want it to be blended out the same way that the orange is. So I'm going to take the edge of that and just taper the edge slightly. Just so slightly. I'm just trying to make sure anywhere I blended didn't completely take away pigment of the brown, and in some spots it did. That's why I'm reapplying it. But see, this is what you really kind of want. You want to leave that brown there and have the rest of that just right there. I just almost spilt my whole cup of coffee. That would have really ruined my whole day. I'm not having a great day as it is right now, and that would have really just put it right over the edge. So I'm going to take the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Flat White, and I'm going to do a pretty dramatic cut crease. And I can see now I'm going to have to clean up under my eyes a little bit from the fallout from that brown shade. So I'm going to take some of that on the back of my hand onto this Luxie 240 that's a number apparently, 246 Precision Crease Brush. There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I am going to, like I said, this is going to be a dramatic crease, so it's going to be a little higher than what you would normally expect of it. So I'm going to take it a little further out and a little higher up like this right here. Okay, so you can see that is pretty dramatic right there. And I'm going to leave that little hook right there. You'll see why in a minute. So we're going to go and do the other thing. This is another thing you have to do to try to be symmetrical with the other eye. So when you're cutting your crease, just start off slow. Make sure you're looking ahead again. Just like with what I said a minute ago, make sure you're looking ahead of you. And take your time doing it. So now I'm just going to take another Luxie, what is this? The Luxie 245 Small Shader Brush. And we are going to go into the shade. I don't know how to say some of these, so we're just going to roll with it. But it's like El Malecon or something like that. It's like a very weird, pretty gold shade. It's very unusual because it doesn't look like a straight up gold, like your typical gold that you think of when you think of a gold eyeshadow. It's very pretty though. So I'm applying this straight onto where that concealer is. And you see how this is like really dramatic so far. And I wanted to do it a little higher up. That way when we add our liner and do our mascara, you can still see a decent amount of the crease. The cut crease that we made. We didn't do all this work for it to not be visible, honey. And so when you get to the edge of where your brown and your shimmer color connect, you just want to do a little shimmy and kind of blend that back and forth just a little bit. So this is where a little bit of the fun comes in. We are going to take this shade Veradero, and I'm going to rim that very, very closely on a smudge brush. This is just the BMX smudger brush. I'm going to rim that very closely to my lash line. And I'm going to do it across my bottom lash line. Normally I would not take such a deep color all the way to the edge, but for this I am, because it is going to be a dramatic look. And now I'm going to knock the product off of that, and we're going to go in this with the shade Celia, which is such a pretty color. And now we're going to really smudge out our bottom lash line with that. So what I like to do is, after I've laid the product down, the amount of blue that I want, I wipe the brush off and I go back and I take what color is there and I blend it just as far down as I want it to go. We don't want it to go far down. You obviously don't want it to go far down, but you do want to take it just a little lower. Alright, so now that we have got that where we want it, we're going to take La Costa, which is a really pretty color, and we're going to use that to highlight our inner corner. It's very pretty. Alright, so now the next fun thing we're going to be doing is we're going to take two LA Girl Shockwave liners. This is in the shade Fresh and Outrage, and so they are very bright, pretty colors. We're going to line our waterline with the blue Fresh shade. I absolutely love these liners. I've told you guys that a lot. I have a tutorial swatching and reviewing all the shades except for the dark blue, like the royal blue, and the black. If you want to check that out, I'll link that up there. Alright, so as you can see, we have this liner. We have made a wing on this eye. If you want, you could take concealer and go another step and cut where your wing would be and make this even more bright and vivid. I'm just going to lay it straight over top. Because a wooden pencil liner is not the most graceful thing to make an outer wing with, I like taking a liner brush and just smudging the edge of that wing out to make it just a little pointier than it would have been. Alright, so before we finish up, we are going to use this shade La Costa in the palette as a highlight because it is so pretty. I feel like we can. Ooh, yeah, we can. This is just a Luxie 640 Precision Pro tapered brush. So I'm going to do a quick spritz of this Iconic London spray. So the last thing we're going to do is take this liquid lipstick from Ofra in the shade Mocha. I just want something pretty neutral to not take away from the eyes. Alright guys, and that's all for this look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe. I post every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!